I am Angel. I am also known as Cluster FUCK, and I live with chronic cluster headaches. I might as well just drive and put my head out the window. See, A to Z. Who the heck hands somebody a Red Bull after a headache? A headache to the regular people.
I break their fucking nose.
I gave birth in my car.
I'm sorry, you're looking crazy again.
Between 50 and 20, I think.
Every of you can give birth in your car.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the second episode of My Clusters Beyond the Pain podcast. If you haven't heard it already, on our first episode, we spoke with Dr. Peter Goadsby and Dr. Carmine Bellin on their views on cluster headaches, pathophysiology, the progress made with research, and challenges ahead. So if you haven't heard that, go ahead and listen to that after this episode. Just to do a quick intro, my name is Darshan. I suffer from cluster headaches, one of the most painful conditions to exist. I've had it for about 9+ years. After a severe bout in 2023, 2024, where I was getting multiple attacks a day, I decided to start My Clusters, dedicated cluster headache tracking analysis app for patients and a research platform for real-world analysis and clinical studies. Before we move ahead, just a quick disclaimer. This is not a medical podcast. Today, we are going to be talking to clusterheads from across the world about our lived experiences. So any topics we discuss is purely our own personal experiences, and consider this as for informational purposes only. My Clusters advocates for research in all treatments. We do not necessarily advocate for any one particular medication. Said that, I am super happy to welcome 4 cluster heads from around the world, some very close to me, like Kato, Rob. We have Cecily from France and Angel from Canada. Welcome, everyone.
Thank you.
Hello, thank you for having us.
Thanks for being here. Now, we were just discussing this before, and I know all of you, fortunately, through My Clusters. I think, Kato, you were the first person that messaged me. This is actually a funny story. When we launched our beta, the login wasn't working, and Kato was one of the first people messaging me saying, hey, this doesn't work. And it's been just about a year now, I think. And then Kato and Rob, we've traveled to conferences together. I've been lucky to have their support. And we met Angel, of course, in the Texas conference. And it's great that we have found a way to support each other without feeling the burden, the psychological burden. I think it helps to have us around. Cicely and I also got in touch through My Clusters. And when she, I think, first complained about our French translations, that they weren't good enough. So much for AI. But then since then, Cecily, by the way, does an amazing job on TikTok, spreading awareness about cluster headaches and different treatments. And she has a big following. So if you are on TikTok, please follow her on, just correct me, Cecily. I mean, I won't even say it. Just how is it called, your TikTok?
It's in French.
How's it called?
Malade.
Malade?
Dit non.
What she said?
Malade. Qui, Q-I-I, dit, D-I-T, non.
I like it.
I will.
I can speak French.
Mm-hmm.
I will put it in the description. And I'm going to have to edit out that. They keep dropping packages to my apartment. But without getting too distracted, can you guys one by one maybe just give a quick introduction so we have some context to move forward? So episodic or chronic, how long you've had it? Yeah, the other details. We will start with Kato.
I'm Kato. I'm 31 years old from the Netherlands. I've been suffering for about 9 years, of which 5 chronic. It took me 3 years to get the diagnosis, and then everything went fast. But I think a lot of other sufferers recognize that. Treatments, trying everything out. It is more manageable compared to a couple of years ago. And that's why I'm also trying to be a bit more active in the support groups and things like that.
Thanks, Rob.
Yeah, my name is Rob. I'm also from the Netherlands. I'm 29 years old. I'm a chronic clusterhead, and I've been that way since my diagnosis was in 2022. But before that, it was also there, but not diagnosed because, yeah, me and my GP both, were in denial and didn't know what it was. So, yeah, currently it's a bit more manageable, and therefore I'm more working on the advocate so that people get to know clusterheads and what it is, and that there can be done more research. So that's how we also met for my cluster, of course.
Thank you.
I am Angel. I am also known as Cluster FUCK, and I live with chronic cluster headaches. I have for about 4 years now. This isn't something I get sometimes. It's a complete part of my life. My last attack was actually this morning after multiple throughout the night, and that's a normal for me. It took a long time to be taken seriously, like a lot of women. I was told migraines, stress, anxiety, period, anything but what it actually was. Being in that much pain while not being believed messes with you in ways people don't really talk about. And I'm happy to be here with you guys.
Yeah, I actually had some conversations about that in the last episode as well. It's more common than we think, the migraine diagnosis before cluster headache. Cecily?
Hi, I'm 38 and I'm chronic clusterhead. I think I was episodic about 12 years ago and become chronic 4 years ago. Chronic with 10 to 12 attacks a day. It took me 1.5 years to have a diagnosis, and it was very, very hard. I have 2 daughters. I'm a solo mom with my 2 daughters. It was very hard. I've tried everything, and now I'm ketamine and lidocaine, and I think it's a better option for me now.
Yeah, I think you were just saying before we started recording, right, that it's only now in the last few weeks or so gotten somewhat better. I had some questions about the diagnosis journeys, but I'll come back to that. I think I also just realized that you are all chronic. I'm the only episodic here. I think it's also, well, first, good to probably clarify to those that do not know the distinction. I think there's quite a few definitions used around the world, but again, you guys correct me if you heard something else, but the most widely used is if you have a 3-month gap in between attacks, then you are known as episodic, if not chronic. So then again, it's not the most mathematical one, I would say, because then it also, if you get an attack on day 89, does that mean you're episodic because you didn't go the entire 3 months? But realizing that I'm the only episodic here and you're all chronic, and then we may have had this discussion sometimes where I think maybe it was you, Kato, that said you think episodic people have more of anxiety. And
That's how I experienced it myself. When I was still episodic, I was always like, you cannot be ready for the next cycle and you cannot be ready for the next attack, but you're always like it's lurking around the corner. And that's one thing I've been missing since being chronic. It's like a constant. So now every day I kind of know what to expect. And I don't necessarily have my attacks on the same times of the day and don't have the same amount of attacks every day. But still, I think we all know how easily you get used to being pain-free. Sometimes
I had like
you're in
3 or
remission
4 days during Christmas, and the attack that came back, I feel like I was starting all over again. And it was just a couple days. And I had an attack during those couple days, but just not having so many, it felt like I was restarting.
Yeah.
Definitely took a toll on my mental health.
Yeah. I think it gives way less anxiety if you're chronic. And of course, it depends on person, but it's not all the time waiting, like, when will it come again? And it's a bit more easier on the mind.
Mm.
Yeah, I can relate to that. I think there is a bit of a window where it's also then, let's say it's 2 months for someone, maybe it's 4 months for someone else. And after a point, then you start forgetting about it because it is a bit of a
Yeah.
human tendency, right? Like it happened to me this summer. I had maybe like a 6-month remission, and then I flew to India and came out of nowhere. And then until I had to even go to Scotland, and I think I had to cut my trip short. And there's this bit of you go through the whole process again. So I'm not. I think I was talking to someone else that they said that they're just two different kinds of hell.
Mhm.
But the other question I wanted to ask you is like when I thought I was chronic, I had for a couple of months at least 3 attacks a night, no matter what. Right? Like I go to sleep at 9, 10, 11, doesn't matter. It's like
Mhm.
2 hours of falling asleep, wake up, oxygen, go back to sleep, another attack. It's just so tiring by the time I woke up. How how do you guys deal with it? If there is someone that's going through this and struggling with it, what do you tell them? How do you go through with it? Is there something that makes it manageable, bearable?
Community. The pain
Definitely.
is brutal. The isolation, sorry, can feel worse than the pain itself sometimes. You're fighting
Yes.
something extreme, and at the same time, you're trying to explain yourself to people who can't see it. After a while, you stop explaining. So having community like having you guys helps a lot.
Yeah, of course, you hopefully you can find like an abortive or an alternative that's working for you. That would be great. But even if you have those, I think I can say for myself, meeting other clusterheads saved my life at some point. And I'm sure many more would say this.
Like Darshan said, when I would deal with 3 attacks a night, sometimes I got one when I fell asleep and one in the morning. But then I would get up 45 minutes after getting up. I would have to get myself to work before I had my first daily attack, and I'd have to go through my attack at work and then cut people's hair. And I, to this day, have no idea how I did that for so long. I honestly don't. It was like my brain was on autopilot. There was no way. Like nobody really understood either. My boss would recommend stuff like acupuncture and this and that. He didn't see it until he actually seen me have a cluster attack during a haircut. And it was like I'd never seen that man run so fast. He was like, "What do I do?" And I was like, "Get me oxygen." Then he started really believing how bad it was for me every day. And he was like, "This was not all the time." I'm like, "No, this is every single attack. It's like this. It's this bad." But at that time, I also didn't have proper abortives and I didn't know how to use oxygen properly. And I was also still fighting with neurologists to get a diagnosis. So it was hard.
That's insane. Yeah. Rob, Cicely, I can't. You have kids on top of all this. How do you manage?
For me personally, I have a really big society around me, like my family and friends and people in my village. Those people kind of saved my life, I think, because until last September, I had no way of boarding them. So I had to sit through them like 2, 3 hours each attack, around 10 hours of attacks at minimum per day. So yeah, you're really tired after those attacks. And yeah, having a really nice wife who does a lot for me and a lot of persons around me that can help me with the basic things. For instance, bring kids to school, get something from a supermarket. Those things can be really, really hard. And for the people around you that don't know, don't see it, it's even harder to,
Explain.
sorry. The amount of pain and the burden to do things when you're in that kind of state, so tired, you have to have people around you that do things for you because otherwise it's not manageable. It just isn't.
And some
And
people do have to do it by themselves.
Yeah.
yeah,
And
Oh, there's the kids.
It's
Perfect
talking about
timing.
me.
Perfect timing.
you take a break.
to help a lot too. Yeah. Now
And
they are really, really cute too. Like for instance, if I have a really bad attack, they come sit next to me and cuddle me, or bring me a glass of water. Or after a rough night, the eldest one brings me breakfast sometimes. So those are the little things that keeps you on your legs.
nice. And just for some added context, like you've gone through every treatment possible, right?
Yes. Yeah. I've done literally everything that's possible in the normal way here, like in the hospitals, every medicine, treatment, trial. So January 2025, I got a neurostimulator, and I went through that battery in less than 4 months. So I had to do another one in June. Yeah,
June, I think it's just after
June.
Newcastle.
It was June,
It was
yeah.
June. Yeah, May,
Um,
December, and June. I got the new battery, and it's the rechargeable one. So more options, and also went through all those options. And last September, we set it on the last possible setting to try if it would work because all the other ones didn't. And yeah, then we went to Texas, and some people introduced me to the DMT vape, and that's the first time it really went away. So speaking of anxiety, if you're episodic, I was quite anxious when the next attack would come because it was away for some time, and that's freaky also if you always had them. That's also a rhythm. So I have that now at home, and it works pretty good.
You have to be careful if you're already on anxiety meds.
Any SSRIs or
Or-
anything.
You
or-
have to be careful with the different things. Like it's
Yeah.
a psychedelic, and with psychedelics, you really have to check what meds you're on if you can use them together.
If you're mentally
Not-
able to handle it.
Mhm.
Of course, there's a lot of things to take notice of.
But
Yeah.
also as a last resort, it is a lifesaver. And
Yeah.
I didn't think I was mentally able to handle any psychedelics when I did it, but
Yeah.
when I contacted the Clusterbusters and they said this, and then I watched the video with Bob and two others, I think Bill and Joe, and one of them said like a 90 something percent abortive rate I ran. No matter how scared I was with the abortive, I still
Yeah.
tried it.
Yeah, it is a trade-off, right?
Yeah.
Anything to make the pain go away. Back to treatments, Cicely, again, how is it for you? How is it in France? How is it for you as a mom of two kids? How do you deal with it?
I'm lucky to be in France, I think, now, because I have ketamine. But my doctor is one of the 5, 6 doctors in France who give us ketamine. So I'm lucky, very lucky. In France, we love neurostimulator. We love it.
The external or the surgery?
Like the gamma
surgery.
Oh,
Surgery.
okay.
I have it. Yes,
Mhm.
I have it. It's totally ineffective for me. And I asked for euthanasia when the surgery failed and my neurologist just abandoned me. So in France, we can't ask for euthanasia, but in Europe, some countries.
You can in Canada too.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I asked for it, and I have written my letters to my daughters, and I found a friend who accepts to come with me for the last travel. In France, it's okay to go to another country. Our neurologists are okay with that.
Wow.
My doctor told me, yes, if you want to, go to. So it was very, very difficult for me.
Sorry, when you brought it up to your doctor, they were just like, yeah, they didn't give you any pushback, nothing.
Nothing.
I felt the same way when I brought it up to my doctor. She was just like, actually, this is the proper name for it. And I was like, oh, you're excited about it.
Whoa.
It didn't feel since like it felt weird. I'm sorry, continue.
Whoa. Whoa. I found TikTok at this point, and the community with around me saved me.
I'm
sorry.
They saved
that.
my life.
sorry
Yes.
you had to.
I'm sorry you
And
went to
my
that
daughter's
point.
life.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Both of you, and I
They
think
saved their mom.
Yes. Yes.
that again, I did
It's insane how a doctor can easily say yes if you want to do it, but it's the community
Yeah.
who
Yes.
eventually made sure that you are still here.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Yes.
think that's also like for a lot of people.
Yeah, you
Like
would think
doctors,
that,
once nothing is working, they also cannot do anything, and they kind of stop. They take your hands off you.
yeah, you would
And
think that
it's
the
the community who
community
picks you up.
where we understand the pain, that logically you would think that, like I can understand why that would be okay, but the community is the one that says no, it's not okay. That
We're all gonna fight together.
Yeah.
'Cause if we don't fight, then who's gonna fight for the next one?
Yeah, I don't know why. Until last year, I think, until I met like Kato, Rob, I would never speak about it. Like there were a very few people that knew about what I was going through, and then I think in a way what they showed me also is to be more open, and then somehow it's liberating in a way, right? So one, you
Mhm.
completely surrounded by people that know what you're going through. You can kind of have your own language, you have your own, you can easily talk about like
I
episode.
find it easier to stand up for myself now too. I know there's people behind me that will back me up if I need it.
And I think it's also so great that, like Cicely, that you've turned around so much now. You're advocating for more awareness, better treatments in France. You have such a big following that
You're doing so much.
you can go from being in that position to actually now impacting and saving other people's lives. So yeah, that's really commendable. What's
Mhm.
also a bit surprising is, again, I think bringing a lot of people from different countries together, we can get a comparison of like how different countries healthcare
Deal with
systems,
it.
but at least from this point of view, it doesn't seem to be that different.
It's all pretty
It's
similar.
shit. Oh, sorry. Cut that out.
It's
I'm
bleep.
sorry again, Cecile. That's not something that anybody should have to consider, especially when, yeah, it's just not something we should have to consider.
It just starts from diagnosis itself, right? Like how many, I mean, okay, maybe not Rob and me, but how many were diagnosed with migraines before? Like what was that diagnosis journey like?
For me, I already had migraines in my puberty, in my teenage years. They went away for a couple of years. I moved out of my parents' place, and then the cluster started. And from the beginning, I noticed it was different. Went to the GP, got sent home multiple times. It's a different kind of migraine. Just keep an eye on it. Even when asking if I could be sent to a neurologist or a specialist, I will be sent home with yoga, do breathing techniques, things like that. And after 3 years of searching for different types of migraines and finding something that would fit what I was experiencing, I read something about cluster headaches. They started with it's even worse pain than migraines. And I was actually in an attack at that moment. And I was manic. And I was like, how can there be something even more painful than migraines? And then they described the symptoms like a blocked nose, runny eye, things like that. And this is exactly what I've been experiencing and what I've been telling my GP, but they didn't recognize it. It was a couple of GPs, actually. I moved a couple of times in between. And I sent a document to her and I was like, this is what I have. I want to see a neurologist. And she didn't even call me. She just sent me to a neurologist, never talked to her again. And I still have migraines, but it's so completely different from migraines. It's so different.
You have a weekend migraine diagnosis as well.
They call it weekend or holiday migraines. I
The
don't
business
even remember.
headache.
It's non-existent. I looked it up many times. It's non-existent because they would occur when I was resting or when I would have time off of work. So you see a lot that people get attacks in their sleep, can stay busy and mostly keep the attacks away from me. But as soon as I sit down and I start relaxing, they come. And they would always come in the evening, in the weekend, or when I would take a week off of work. So it also resulted in me never taking any time off for myself because keeping myself busy would mean less headaches.
That right there is probably how I went for so long, was because if I knew I was go, 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 like I would finish work and I would drive an hour and a half to my sister's, hang out there for 3 hours, drive an hour and a half home, knowing that I was elongating that night attack. Like I was just making it like it was going to come later on if I stayed out late.
Burnout eventually. Like you get so burned out. At some point you collapse. You cannot do it anymore.
Bawl my eyes out in front of my boss and he would have no idea what to do.
So my psychologist, she was like, you're going to go to work and you're going to call in sick. I'm going to call you in an hour. And if you didn't call in sick, I will get you myself. It was like that. And
I will drive over myself.
there was someone who needed to say that to me.
I was having 2 attacks a day when I quit my job, and then became 3, became 4.
It got worse.
So it played with my mind also that it was stressful.
You start doubting, maybe was it the right choice?
Should I just go back to work?
Yeah, exactly. Which is also not healthy because you cannot stay active
we are now working on a paper because now we have the app live for 6 months. The amount of people, like this is again global, right? That apart from not sure, some of the top triggers are sleep, rest, napping. Yeah.
Well,
so
laying horizontally.
Any form of like
a lot of people don't like to lay down horizontally. Hanging out.
It's always I think it's always so funny when you tell someone about cluster headaches and they don't know much about it. They always think like with migraines, the like coffee, caffeine, things like that are bad for you. You should get a lot of rest. And if you tell them, but sleep is a trigger and high doses of caffeine can abort the attack, they're like, what the hell? And then you tell them about the alternatives and the psychedelics, and like, well, usually
they think you're crazy.
Drugs if you're having a headache.
I told them on sleeping, but caffeine is definitely a lifesaver for me.
Me too.
How many coffees do you have a day, Rob? 8?
Between 15 and 20, I think.
I was gonna say easy. 8 easy. 8 is easy.
That's on the easy days.
Wow.
Yeah, it's either if I'm not drinking an insane amount of coffee, I have about 4 Red Bull because I won't go past 4 Red Bull because I know my kid, like I want to keep my kidney, but like still, I would rather not have headaches or shadows
or Monster. They have nice flavors that Kato likes.
Oh, I'm so glad
the
caffeine is not working for me. I hate energy drink, and I like coffee for the taste, but if I have to drink it all day.
I know the whole conference, I was like, you want a Red Bull? She's like, Angel, I hate energy. Ew. Oh, okay, sorry.
Oh, no.
I just want to help you.
I know.
In Texas, I lived on Red Bull because the coffee was way too weak.
My favorite
moment
in
a double shot of
Texas
espresso.
The fridge in our hotel room was full with
Kato even filled up my fridge. You guys filled up my fridge too. My favorite moment at that conference, I had an attack at like 3:30 in the morning and it only lasted 45 minutes. And I was like, I'm just going to go outside for a cigarette. Cigarettes aren't always a trigger, people, just so you know. I went outside to smoke a cigarette and 4 other people had already finished their attacks. Not one person asked me if I was okay. Not one person asked me if I needed water. Somebody picked a Red Bull up and handed it to me. And I had never felt so understood in that. And other than that moment, like I was just like, these are my, I don't want to leave you guys. I'm like, can I come home with you guys?
Don't start crying now. You will make me cry again.
Who the heck hands somebody a Red Bull after a headache to the regular people? And I was just so in love. And I I was in my space. Mark was
I was
beside me, and
running through the hotel where the conference was taking place, looking for this one guy who I knew was carrying DMT on him because Rob was
Mhm.
having an attack. I was like, okay, this is the time to try it out.
I went and
And
found Rob in the.
oxygen room.
He's
yeah.
like, no, I'm good. I'm like, seriously though, Cato, you gotta convince him. Like he's gotta do this. You were the only one having attacks like you were at the conference. Like I had prednisone, everybody had their abortives. You were still getting slapback after slapback. Like everybody felt so
but
bad for you.
The oldest
I
cluster
looked it up,
veterans
that-
were shocked by Rob's attacks.
The attacks in Texas, from what I saw, were worse for Rob because when we went to the Ouch conference in Newcastle, you still had attacks, but Rob would just go say, I'm having an attack. He disappears and would come back in half an hour.
You didn't notice them. You didn't see them like you saw them at Texas, you mean?
No, I felt like it was worse in Texas. I don't know, Rob, if you had more.
Do you think it was the
wasn't really-
weather or?
Yeah, more I think to change. And at the ouch, I had the really long ones more at night. And here, maybe it was because of time difference that there were more longer attacks on the day. But
Yeah,
normally,
because it would technically be at night where you are.
But you
Like
also
at
figured
home.
out after Texas that you suffer from hermania continua, and like
Crania.
or how do you call it? Sorry, yeah. And what Gary, another person who also suffers from it, told that the air conditioning, which is happening a lot in like the big buildings, is a trigger for that. So
Gary did mention that we started going outside more often and sitting in the warmth, and we all started feeling better when like the shadows were just lingering inside, and we'd sit
Yeah.
outside and we'd be like, okay, maybe Gary has a point. I do remember that now.
Yeah.
I
And
looked it up, but the attack when you got me the DMT, that attack I was already 2 hours in, and after that it was like 78 hours without attacks.
Hmm
I
I
hadn't had that-
remember
Yeah,
I
Yep.
woke up at night because you were snoring so loud. And we were sharing an hotel room, and sometimes I would wake up and I would notice he was having an attack. And this night he was snoring so loud, and I laughed out loud. I rolled over and went back to sleep again. I was so happy for this guy that in
You
the first time, I
messaged
think
me.
5 years, you could sleep through a night, right?
I think you messaged me also saying he's
I was gonna say, I think she messaged the Discord. She was like, drop snoring.
I was so happy for him. It's I don't
It's
know.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Also,
like
also just
you
a quick,
said how long it was. No, that's not for you, most.
just a quick plug in also, Rob. How do you know it was exactly 78 hours?
I keep track of all my attacks,
I
and
was gonna
of course
say,
my
yeah.
clusters sums it really good up.
Smooth plug-in.
Yeah.
Nice one.
Anyway, Cicely, you've been a bit quiet in the corner. That I wanted to. Yeah. So how was yours? You said you were also diagnosed with migraine.
Yes, I was diagnosed. I was 15, I think. I had migraine, but it was very episodic, very soft.
Mm-hmm.
And after my second daughter, I had very, very bad headache. And I went to my GP, and my GP said, "Oh, yes, it's normal. You are a girl. It's normal. Women always have
Mhm.
headaches. Normal." Okay.
It
So
makes you
it
feel
was
bad
a
about
migraine.
yourself. Like, how is everybody going through this, and I'm sitting here
Yes.
like not able to handle it?
I went 11, 12 times to my GP, and
Oh.
I had very, very much migraine attacks. And I thought it was very, very severe. It was not migraine for me. It was not migraine. But my GP said, yes, you have 2 babies. You are anxious or depressed. It's okay.
Postpartum.
It's okay.
Yeah.
And 4 years ago, I had 10, 12 attacks a day, and I went to my GP. I went 39 times to my GP. Sometimes I was in attack. During an attack, I was in front of my GP, and my GP said to me, "You are too anxious."
Hmm. when
She
you were
gave
having
me 1, 2, 3, 4 benzodiazepine.
Yep. Like benzos, yeah.
She gave me an appointment for psychiatrist, psychologist,
Mhm.
and never
everyone
never
She thought it
an
was in your head.
appointment to a neurologist.
Yeah.
Never. It was very hard because I had my daughter at home, and sometimes I thought I would die. I would be died when they
On the
woke up
floor.
on the
Yeah.
morning. It was very hard for me, but my
This one,
GP said,
you didn't know it was AVF, so you still
no, I
Yeah.
didn't know the name. The name.
You just knew you were in
I
pain.
thought it was migraine. Yes, okay. Very severe, okay. But clusterhead, never heard. In France, we say algie vasculaire de la face. I never heard before.
Mhm.
And I had to call the emergency service and say, please do something. Please do something. I will die now.
It was that bad.
And SAMU sent me to the hospital, and at the hospital, I saw a neurologist. The neurologist saw me during an attack and said to me, "Oh, it's cluster headache."
Mm.
2 seconds.
What was that feeling when
2
they said
seconds.
that?
I cried during 3 days. 3 days. It was. I was happy to have a name on my attacks, and I had
Can I
a
also ask you one more
paper,
question?
and on the paper it was cluster headache. It was not anxiety, and
Were,
I was happy to have that, but I thought I'm finished.
were you considering, when you went to your doctor and you considered euthanasia, in Canada we call it MAID, was that before you got your diagnosis?
Yes,
I'm so sorry.
That's so terrible.
I know it's how but I'm so sorry.
I'm okay now.
Hmm.
I'm okay now.
You
But
went
I
more
recognize the happy
into-
feeling you had, that you have a name for
Yeah.
it, and
Yes.
it doesn't get labeled as anxiety. Like when what I just told you, when I was during an attack and I read something about cluster headaches, and I was like, this is what I have. If you ask my boyfriend, we met as roommates and we were living in the same shared house, and I got out of bed and I was running around the house screaming like, I have cluster headaches during an attack, and I was laughing, and he was like,
Crying and laughing.
why are you laughing? Why are you happy? But I was like, you finally have a name for it, and
That's
you
name,
finally feel hurt, and I felt hurt by a document, but
Hmm.
Yes.
it was like this is it. It is known. I'm not crazy, and
Yes.
For me,
It's
when
so
I got the,
important.
Yeah.
you
It's
can
so
Google
important.
things, you can join groups. you
I
can-
felt sad, but also happy that I got a diagnosis
Yes.
because I
I
knew
felt sad
there was
later
nothing we could do.
when I learned the nickname and that it's hard to treat and things like that. That's when I got anxiety or sad about it. But in the beginning, I was happy. I got hopeful. Like you can try
Mhm.
out treatments now that they give to other cluster heads, so there's a bigger chance it's working instead of the
That's-
migraine
A bit
meds.
more hope
That's
than
the
you
thing
had
with specific
before.
story also, right? That if it is possible that you have anxiety as a result of cluster headaches, so then
Oh yeah, but same
Yes,
as
yes.
depression.
I have
It's a
anxiety
result of
sometimes.
cluster
Yes.
headaches.
Yes.
since you're
Yeah.
a neurologist, you go to a psychiatrist and then they say, okay, you have anxiety, and then it's could very well be misinterpreted as, you have anxiety. This is not a headache disorder. And I think, like, of course, we've all had this conversation, a headache versus like what we have is a neurological condition, a headache,
Yeah.
chronic headache disorder.
Mhm.
I mean, think about also like someone that's going through this right now, right? So what would you tell them? Let's say someone that is fighting diagnosis, or they don't know what they're having. Like, what would you do? Like, how can you advocate for yourself?
Always ask for a neurologist, a specialist. Don't settle with just seeing the TP. Even if they say it's anxiety or just migraines, migraines also need to be treated by a headache specialist, not by a GP. I know they love to do it themselves, keep on standing. Go back every day, make an appointment every day, take up the time, be annoying as
Yourself.
sleep, and make sure make sure that they will send you to the specialist, because you have the right to go there and it's needed.
Yeah, and if you're listening and you're living with cluster headaches, you're not weak. You're surviving something most people can't imagine, and that matters.
And you're not
Yeah,
alone.
definitely.
You're not alone.
You're not
You're not alone. Yes, you're not
always
alone. Yes.
not alone. Like, not everyone is advocating for the disease.
Yeah, a lot of the time I just see somebody write something on Reddit, and I'm like, hey, dude.
Yeah.
Me too. And they're like,
Yeah.
really? And I'm like, yeah. I'm just like, I have
Yeah,
to.
and-
I can't let anybody suffer alone.
Yeah, and once you get to know someone, it's easier to navigate, especially on the internet, because that is how we meet a lot of others. But I think it would be great if, like, the headache specialist would also have, like, the connections to send people to those support groups, because it's not only about treating the pain, it's so much more, and we need the community. Like, it is messing with you mentally.
Definitely.
It's
If I
traumatizing.
could have changed one thing in healthcare, it would have been to be believed sooner.
Yeah.
And there are these common themes, right? We've seen it in communities, in questions that pop up. I know what it is, but I can't get a diagnosis because, the GP or someone doesn't. I have the diagnosis, but I don't get the necessary prescription, oxygen in most cases, or I don't get enough of oxygen. Cicely, of course, you advocate and you do a lot for cluster headache awareness. What are some of the common questions or challenges that you see in France with other Alger vascular face? That face when I have to say it in French.
Very good, yes. In France, we have not enough neurologists, and they don't know cluster headache.
Can you directly
Globally, they don't know it. So
Can you get an appointment with a specialist directly in France, or does
no,
you have to go through a GP?
GP, and then if the GP wants to, we go to the specialist. But with many cities with no specialist, and in my city, which is a big city in France, we have 1 year to see a neurologist.
Waiting?
1 year
Yes.
Wow.
And during this time, the GP cannot prescribe oxygen.
That's the same in Ireland. I'm talking to a friend, and he's having a really hard time getting oxygen. And he waited the year to see his his specialist, and as soon as he got to the specialist told him, "Sorry, we reserved that for COPD," which is totally not true. It is not true, but that's what they told him.
I remember the first time I got to use or try out oxygen was at the first help, because I didn't have medications and I was hyperventilating and stressing because I was having a bad attack. And I asked for the oxygen because I was like, it could be working for cluster headaches. And they asked me, does it work for you? I was like, I'm not sure. And they were like, yeah, okay, but why should we give it to you? Because my first
How are we gonna
neurologist,
know?
and she wasn't a specialist, but she also told me, like, I cannot prescribe you oxygen because we don't know if it works. And I was like, but how do I work? Go and stand outside, filter out all the oxygen, and
that's the kind of bullshit we all deal with
what
every
the
time we talk
hell?
to a fucking doctor. Sorry, pardon my French, pardon my English,
Same,
pardon.
same. I'm sorry, we're trying, Darshan.
But that upsets me so deeply,
Yeah.
because it's so many different ways, same pile but different explanations, and it's like, you make no sense.
It's literally oxygen.
And then
it saves all. I mean, if you're worried about costs, it saves you all the costs from.
Yeah, some people have to resort to welding oxygen.
Yeah.
Because they can. Wink. Anyway.
Rob,
even if you get prescribed oxygen, then you still need the right mask, the right prescription, because my specialist the first time said if you go over 12 liters a minute, then you will bleep up your system. But
it'll
that's
take hours.
The mask I got was garbage. Like, then even if you try and you have it, it still won't work because you don't have the right way to use it.
prescription.
So,
Like 15 is the lowest per minute you should have it. And most people need it at 25 because you're having a panic attack, you're hyperventilating, you have to keep up with the air.
I used
12
to.
is going to do absolutely nothing. You're gonna starve yourself of
I
air.
don't even bother with lower ones now. I go straight to 25.
Yep. When I feel the attack ramping down and I feel it gone, I ramp it right down to like a 5, just so I'm still breathing oxygen in, because that's what the oxygen guy from Clusterbusters said. He said, just when you feel like it's done, don't be stingy with your oxygen. Leave it for another 5 minutes. That'll help with the slapback attacks or the rebound attacks, and it does.
I believe my
Makes a big
neurologist told
difference.
me that for cluster headaches, you shoot 7 liters per minute. That's nothing.
No,
That's nothing.
it.
They were like, you can put it higher.
I might
but
as well
put it on
just
7,
drive
never
and put my
higher.
head out the window.
I wouldn't recommend that.
Again, just a reminder,
Again, I
May or may not have done that
No
before.
medical advice
it's
here.
not medical advice on this.
But I think
be
another
clear.
reason that the community is so nice to have, and almost you can't go without it, because a lot of specialists don't really know what you're going through, but also don't know how to prescribe it right or give you the
Yes.
right information.
Mhm.
Because after I went through a lot of medication before I got the neurostimulator, I also needed to use lithium, and it went up really high, but they never told me what to look out for when I'm using it. Because there is a really high chance of intoxication when you use it on that level. And I had to get the information from other cluster heads that had experience with it, what to look out for, what to do if you have had more than you should, or you have symptoms that are not common. Because you can get to the GP to draw some blood and they can check your levels, but in between, it's up to yourself. So if you
That's
wake
so
up in the
weird because
middle
when I
in
was
the
on
night and
lithium,
you're all dizzy and what
I
to
had
do?
to draw blood twice a week at the exact same time. They were very strict with it.
Yeah, you had
It's
to
crazy
go
to
to
me
the
because they
hospital
just
to get
handed me
emergency.
verapamil. I have a heart murmur. My neurologist just gave me verapamil. The first night I took it, it felt like I was running and I was laying down in bed and I knew I couldn't take the medication. And I called him and I told him that, and he was like, "Oh, I did not know this. Sorry." And then I'm
I
talking
have
to
the
other cluster
same.
heads and they're like, "Angel, you're supposed to get echocardiograms before you."
Yeah,
And I'm like, "What?"
And
yeah,
before you,
You're
same.
just throwing medicine at me that could literally, I could have like gone.
I
My
stood
heart
on
could have
it.
gave
He
out.
wanted me. My neurologist wanted me to try the verapamil for the second time, and the first time I tried it was at another hospital. So he was like, "I want to try it with you," and I was like, "Well, last time I could only high up the dose one time because my heart rate is so low." And he was like, "Yeah, but you're young, we'll be fine." I was like, "No, I want like the heart master." And it was like, "No, it's not needed." And I was like, "Well, then I'm not going to try the verapamil." And I think for him, it was like I was just starting at the hospital. Verapamil is the first preventive they make you try before all the others. And he was like, I think a bit in his head, like, okay, but if I cannot let her try this, I can also not get her to try the other medication because this is the first one she should try. And then I was like, I'm not leaving here until you are making sure they make like a video of my heart each time I'm high up a dose. I could high up one time. Then he called me and was like, nah, you gotta
It
get off
changed
it.
everything.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, it is.
He
Most
said,
Exactly. He
you're
was like,
lucky.
"Doctor," and you're
And that
like,
was a shame because he was like a
apology?
specialist at a very important headache clinic in the Netherlands. And it's such a shame that I know they do good work and they are specialized and they are important to have, but the way they treat patients is almost non-existent.
We're just
Like they only
numbers.
care about the research things. They don't care about you. It's the same that what they told you that they will not give you medication because episodic people need it faster. So you just have pain all the time. What was it, Angel? With the Emgality, I believe.
Oh, my doctor, she said, my neurologist, I was fighting with her about the dosage for Emgality for cluster headaches. As somebody that advocates for cluster people, I know a lot of the doses, and I talk to people that are extremely aware of what they're talking about, and she kept on telling me that I was wrong. And then when I finally got her on my side, showing her that I wasn't wrong, she said, "Well, when it comes to episodics, we have to get it really fast. So we can give an episodic that dosage because we want to get them out of the pain as quick as can so they can get back to life." you're chronic, you've been in pain for so long, you can just deal with it pretty well. In other words, that's what she said.
Yeah.
Well, I repeated it. So I'm in pain. I've been in pain 4 years. I might as well just be in pain
So
for
you
another
need
6
more,
months.
not
Yeah.
And
less.
she was like, yeah. I was like,
That's just
cool.
savage. You can't say
It's
that.
not cool. It's also the same neurologist that I
It's like
messaged
they do
and
not
gave
care
her all the
about how
proper
we feel.
information. Everything that she told me that was like this, I told her that she was wrong. I gave her information, documented, did my due diligence. I sent her an email, never got an email back. She won't even answer my calls. I'm pretty sure she abandoned me like Cecile's neurologist abandoned her because I proved her wrong. Hopefully, me proving her wrong will help another clusterhead and she'll be able to help them and she'll be like, oh, well, this is the right way to do it. But she can't look at me in my face and at the next appointment when I sit there with a smile on my face telling her you were fucking wrong. Because I have always stood up for myself very strongly. I don't care if you're a doctor. You are no higher, no lower than me. We're on the same level here. And if you're telling me that the dose is this and it's not, and I know that it's this, and I'm having the literal site that makes the medication say that it's this, and you're telling me opposite, I don't like that neurologist very much.
You don't.
To follow up on what you're saying, like you're on equal level, I think in this case it is really equal because there is no cure.
We have to work
Patients
together.
around how to treat it, how to go around it. For instance, now I have been at my third hospital, countless medication trials, alternatives. Actually, aside from the DMT, there is no way that I got closer to easing the pain. So when I go to those specialists, I think at the moment I step into the room, I'm more of a specialist about it than they are. And you
100%.
really need
Yes.
to have a connection with the person in front of you, if it is a neurologist or a pain doctor, that they also know that you're at that point you're a team. It's
Yeah.
not that okay, there's
You
research
worded
on
it
this, try
perfectly. Thank
this.
you.
If I say I tried that or that doesn't work, or I heard from other sufferers that this is a better way to do it, just listen and do that.
Yeah. It's
I
like
had
the
an
few we were
appointment with my neurologist this morning purely about the fact that I had a question why they would give different information about the same topic to different kinds of patients. And at some point, I was almost finishing her sentences all the time. She was like, okay, but you have to watch out for this. And I was like, yeah, because of that. And she was like, oh, you know. And what I'm always trying to do now when talking to a specialist, I let them know in the beginning, I am very active in the community. I talk to hundreds of other cluster heads. And mostly they are more giving in with changing the direction because they know we know.
And then I
I
think
literally
what
look at my
is
doctors and I say,
interesting-
how can you tell me that? Anything they say. How can you tell me that when the smartest people in the world have no idea why oxygen works for us? How are you gonna tell me that? And they
Mhm.
literally go silent every time because they can't. They
Yeah,
can't.
and I think,
You can't say this is gonna help me. You can't give me hope that's not actually gonna be there. You can't because we're
is
like Rob said, we're supposed to be a team here. We have to be working together.
yeah,
Yes.
there's no cure. There's so many medications you have to do trial and error because it works.
Right?
So adding to what Rob said, every medication works different on different people, right? So verapamil for me worked great for 3 years, still somewhat works. I didn't want to try the others. Oxygen works for most people, but might not work at all for some. Same with the gone block, same with the psychedelic.
Oxygen works sometimes for me. It's not all the time. It's
Exactly.
sometimes.
So we don't know what causes it. We know these medications work, but it doesn't work the same. So then it becomes, I think, more important. Rob, you hit the nail on the head there. Like
He
to work
did.
as a
100%.
Yeah, like as a team, but also figuring out, really listening to you. And I want to add to this, for a lot of people, it's not like one treatment working, but it's like a combination of treatments, like a cocktail. And it takes a long time and a lot of effort to figure out what cocktail or combination is working for you. If you want to figure that out, your doctor should really be listening to you and really be noticing how the different treatments, how you're reacting to it, and make up something out of that. Now, very often, well, I am also talking from my own experience, is one treatment not working? Okay, next one, but never like a combination of the two, or it's actually a shame. It was just like striping up the list, and they were like, okay, now you can get a neurostimulator. I was like, I don't want a neurostimulator. And it was like, okay, if you want one, give us a call.
Yeah, it's literally what I did in the last 2 cycles. And I have this also tracked on the app, but doing rapamil burst followed by a gone to see how long the cycle would last versus doing only the gone because I did not want to go again first on verapamil, but just comparing and contrasting. And I think then it usually, I think the sad part is this took us, what, at least 7, 8, 10, 15 years with the disease to get to this. And we've gone through a lot of mental health struggles. Cecily, I don't know if you get a lot of questions around this as well, but going back to topics of anxiety, depression, and the unliving headache. If someone's having issues with anxiety, depression, what do you tell them? How do they think about it? Who do they go to? How do they talk about it? How do they bring it up?
I receive at least one message per week about this.
What kind of question?
Because I'm okay to
Mhm.
to talk about it, and I have chosen to talk about my story and mm, my limit and my euthanasia. Bref, I'm okay with that. So I receive at least one message per week. The message person, and we talk about it. I always say it's okay to say I want to die. It's okay to say I want to stop it. But it's not okay to stop it for real.
What you're feeling is real.
In France, we have a call number. It's not for us, it's more for psychiatrist patients or depressed patients, but not with pain. But we can call and we can have someone. And I think when we are about to commit this act, I think it's important to have someone to talk, and just call the number can save a life. Just that. But after that, we talk about where is the person? Where is the doctor who sees her the most? Sometimes I can email doctor and explain what is cluster headache, what is this pain. And I think today I can say every single person who contacted me with I want to die, I can't say I saved lives, but I can say I am one of the persons who have saved this person.
Is it okay if I put your link on the description? So if there is someone in France that
Yes.
wants to reach out, is
Yeah.
that okay? Thank you. I think you are doing God's work. I mean, it's again, I mean, I'm Indian living in the Netherlands, Rob Kato, Dutch, Canadian, France, but our struggles are the same.
Yeah.
It's a bit crazy. Like when I had depression, I didn't know I had it because growing up, it's not a thing. And then I think what you said, Cecily, like knowing or talking to someone who knows, even if it's a psychologist, psychiatrist, it's useful. And then I was given some exercises that honestly didn't help. I think the thing that helped is talking to the community.
Yes. Yes.
Rob, Angel, Kata, you have been doing a lot of support work. What challenges do you see specifically in like on the mental health side of things, right? What do you see? What do you tell people?
The first thing is also always you're not alone. Go ahead, Rob.
I was going to say that also, like you're not alone. There are others around you
Yes.
and they know your pain and they can support you and help you with all your questions. Because when I had the first headaches, that like the first years I've experienced like these severe headache shots on like a weekly, if not daily basis, and yeah, I had no idea what it was, and until I got diagnosed, I had a lot of questions. And for me, it really helped that I Googled it and I stranded on YouTube at a video of someone in the Netherlands. And in the comments, there was her phone number. So I just called her and yeah, we had a
I think, yeah.
conversation and she could answer a lot of my questions I had. And that really helped me. So yeah, when I speak to people that have a diagnosis or not yet, and they are struggling with these questions, I try to answer them or set them to the people that can help them. And also giving the advice that if they go to the GP, for instance, now that my clusters is a thing, you can log your attacks. Nobody likes to log it, but it's really important to show your GP or your specialists how it works, like how long are they, how severe, what are the symptoms. Those things, if they can see it, they are way easier to give you a subscription or send you to a specialist. I think that can help really with easing the process to get to the people you need to go to.
Yeah.
And also never go alone to an appointment if you're not
Yes.
clear
Yeah.
about things.
Mhm.
And
Like,
if you are
feel-
if you are
we
a
are
woman, don't be
veterans
alone
to
if you
say
are a
it
Oh
woman.
like this.
yeah.
The only
But
reason I got prednisone was
I
because Mitchell was
really
with me.
like if
It's the
someone
same.
went with me.
Yeah. I was going to say, I don't get a lot of people reaching out to me, but I reach out to a lot of people that I see are in need of help. And I find that helps a lot. I don't really give them much. I just sit there and I listen.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I think that helps the most. And once I'm done listening, then I can direct them to the right people. Even if I'm not the right person to talk to, I can be like, hey, I think Rob's a good person for you to talk to, or Darshan, or Kato, or Ed, or I have so many people that I'm connected with that I know there's or somebody that I can send them to that will help them the way they need to be helped. But first is always listening, because
Yeah. And I
it's
think
okay to feel the way you feel. It's
I
okay to
also
feel
think like the ones Rob were giving those tips, they will start asking for it, but also very often people just want to vent and to be listened to and be understood. So what Angel says, like most of the times I talk to them, I see that they're struggling and I'm just be there sitting there with them. That's already a lot you can do. Just someone listening. They don't even necessarily need like an helpful
You're
outcome
giving
or
them a
house
community.
yeah. I think that's most important. And if they are looking for like what are the different treatments I can try, what are alternatives, and want to know more about that, they will ask about it. But what I hated, I'm speaking for myself again, but what I hated about a lot of online communities where it was not in a chat forum and less personal, that if you would come there just to vent, like I'm feeling depressed, I'm feeling like a mess, and I don't know what to do with my life anymore, that a lot of people will come to you like, have you tried oxygen? Have you tried this?
Yeah,
Have you
those are
tried
the
that? And at
people.
some point I'm like, yes, I'm a
Yeah.
clusterhead. Yes, I've
Yeah,
tried
duh.
them.
Yes.
And that's
Those are the
not
people
the
I go
help I
to.
Of
want right
course, I
now.
try it.
I think that's a really
And
good
of
bridge
course it's
to.
It's
I
a
think,
it's
I
one
think
of
that's
the
a really
reasons
good.
that we made a profile feature on my cluster, so you could just like when I was reading it and I wanted to post out, so just like this is it, like
yeah.
these are my medications, this is how long I've had it, this is what side I get the pain on, and then now I
Yeah.
can ask my questions. But anyway, that Rob, go on, you were saying something.
First of all, like Angel and Kato also said, people need to vent. You need to vent. We all need to vent sometimes. And what I personally experience is that when I chat or call with people that need that moment, it's never under 2 hours. Pick up the phone, you talk
No.
about a lot of things, and it's already evening. So that's also a sign. If you have never seen each other and you just
Most of my
vent
phone
and
calls have been at
talk
least
about life,
two and a
you
half, three
just hit
hours.
that snare. And the other thing was like, what you said was a really good bridge to how do you deal with people that tell you take an aspirin, take a glass of water, because those people, yeah,
I had a question
sometimes
for Cecile
What do you
when
tell
you're done.
those people?
Online and
Yeah.
ignore them. If they're in front of my face, I break their fucking nose. Sorry, bleep that out.
Cecile, I had a question. I had a question for you because a lot of people come back to this argument. You've given birth twice, and you've had cluster headaches. What's the difference? I know.
Well, they
Crazy
say
question.
cluster
What's the
headaches are
difference?
painful. Then
But if you're talking to people that don't have cluster headaches, they would look at you like you're stupid. Every time they looked at me like you're over exaggerating, or the men in our community, their wives, they're like, I've been through birth. That can't be worse than that. And it's like, honey, I've met cluster headaches that have been giving birth and had cluster headaches during their birth, and the cluster headache was worse. What is your opinion on that?
I agree. Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
I gave birth in my car.
Oh,
So
It
by
was,
yourself,
it was
girl.
okay. So in my car,
Okay. Story for another time. I want to hear it.
I would like to give birth in my car 8 times a day if you want. Okay,
Thank you.
but never have any attack.
Yeah.
That's insane.
As
I've
somebody
never
was,
been pregnant. I've never gave birth, but I still cannot imagine this.
Every of you can give birth in your car.
just pop
Yeah,
that thing
I'm
out.
gonna
So
pass.
easy. So easy.
I'm gonna
So
pass, but I believe you.
There's this one person that everybody thought he was being rude on Reddit, but I could see through the question. He really wanted to understand how painful it was. And he said, if I were to skin you alive, and then when I was done, you would never have a cluster headache again, would you do it? And every single person, like, how, and when I explained it properly, like, so you're saying tomorrow, I would never have a cluster headache again if today you took every piece of skin off me, and then tomorrow the skin would be back, and I would never have a cluster headache.
oh, the skin's back tomorrow.
Hell yes.
Yeah.
Yes, the skin's back tomorrow. Yes.
Yeah.
Do it. Where's the knife? Like, no question.
my doctor is a pain doctor, and
Anesthesiologist.
he had seen many women giving birth, and he asked me if now you must give birth in the worst pain you can imagine, but tomorrow you have no attack. Tomorrow 0. I said okay.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Let's
I
go. I'm
can
ready.
give birth to
Is that
8
real?
to 10 children. I'm okay
I'll have
with
all
that.
the kids.
All the kids of the earth. Yes. Yes, I'm okay. It's really more intense. I have no word to.
There is no words
It's
for it.
violence.
I think it's also helps that when
CH
giving
is
birth,
violence.
there's
It
a
is, it's
reward.
It's torture.
When you're giving birth, you're really doing it for a purpose. I think that also helps. But with the cluster headaches, you're in pain for what? For nothing, because
Yes,
there's something not working right in here or wherever.
it's only torture.
Your
and
own body is torturing
it's-
you
Yes.
daily.
It's so unnecessary. You know you're not gonna literally die from it directly. But
It feels like it
Me-
sometimes.
why? What do you get out of it? You only get exhausted. You're only in agony.
Mhm.
Only
And if
come back.
even if birth would be more painful, you're really doing it for something, you know. There's such a big purpose for it. But I
Or-
believe you.
I
Where are you gonna-
promise you, it's not more painful.
No,
I
I
can
believe you.
promise you. If giving birth is 10 to 10, CH is 20 to 10.
Wow.
Giving birth is
And I wanted to give this to the men too, because they always think
Yeah.
that maybe they're over exaggerating the pain or this or that. No, sir. No, sir.
No,
You watched
no.
your wife give birth, you're going through worse.
Yes.
Like, I try so hard to explain that to them, but their wives are so in their head and they can't comprehend that there is a worse pain. And I understand what you went through is worse for you. But
And
it's
women, we also notice, again, this is from the analysis we're doing, the median pain reported by women is lower than men.
yes.
maybe you
Yeah.
can think of it as men being more whiny.
I
have
think
a
it also
higher
has to
pain
deal with the
tolerance, I
fact that
believe, yes.
women give birth. We have,
Yes.
I forget what it's called, but we have a higher pain tolerance
Pain
than men in
threshold.
general
Mm,
because
Yes.
we have to give birth.
Yes.
So yes, it can be more painful for men, 100%. I do
Yeah.
believe
But
that.
the perception, I
But
think,
it's pain. It's
the
health.
perception can be higher. I did want to pick up on one of the things, right? Like talking about wives, husbands, partners, your support system close to you. If there's someone listening that has a partner, parent, sibling that is going through cluster headaches, what is it that they can do? What that helps, like in between attacks or during an attack or just
Exactly what the cluster head tells you to do, because it differs so
That
much per person.
Mm.
Most of cluster heads, I believe, like to be left alone during an attack. Don't
Mhm.
touch them. Don't try to hug them. If they scold at you or scream at you to get away, please don't take it personally.
What is it?
Because
Maybe let
when
me
you stub your toe really hard, you don't want somebody to come and kiss your toe better. You want to run around and yell at whatever you stubbed your toe on. You don't want to
let,
be consoled in that moment.
But it
let's
differs per
let's
person, so I think it's really personal. But
Like
try
Rob
to
said, he likes his
communicate
kids.
it.
let's make it like maybe more like individual. So what is it that your like partner, kids, siblings, what is it that they do that
For me, the due diligence. When he studies, he's able to tell people what I'm going through. Like when somebody asks me a question about cluster headaches, and it's the stupidest question, I don't want to answer it, and I'm already triggered now because you just told me, like, why don't you drink more water? Mitchell comes up with the most elaborate ways to explain how I go through headaches. The last thing he said was, when I explain to people at work what it's like, I just ask them if I can stab them with a knife at random times and for as long as I want. And that is the only fraction of what you go through every day. And only a fraction of what you go through every day. That's what he tells people. And that's the most, I've never had so much support. Like being able to have somebody explain it for me and know what I'm going through and not just fluff it off like it's nothing, or it helps me a lot. He helps me a lot on top of just making sure I'm okay, turning the oxygen on when he sees that I'm getting attacked, but I'm not catching on to it quick enough, because subconsciously sometimes we don't even want to realize that we're going to be getting attacked. So my eye will start doing the eye thing, or it'll start to droop, and he'll be like, I think you should go get oxygen, or he'll suggest things for me when I won't do it for myself.
Yeah, same. He leaves me
Reassurance,
alone, but he's always like, do you want something to drink? Do you need something? No, then he just leaves me. If I need something really, I will ask for it. I will scream and ask for it. He does it. In between, I think he acts a lot on my low energy level because of the clusters. So sometimes I feel like a princess. He's like getting up to get me a drink, and I'm like, I can walk myself. I can do it myself. But in the end, yeah, getting up from the couch each
It makes
time
it worse sometimes.
does cost me a little bit of energy, and I don't have a lot of energy. When he's home in the weekends, as soon as I wake up, he's making coffee for me. It's like little things like that that really changed the world. Before we lived together, he couldn't always be there physically for me, but he helped me financially a lot, because that's also a thing. If you cannot work because of a disease, you just get pushed into poverty most of the
Yeah,
times.
I don't know where I would be.
So was buying groceries for me so I could at least eat and things like that. Most of all, he ignores it, but that's because I like that. And if I don't want that,
That's what
I
you
ask
need.
for it. If I want a hug, I ask for it. And he knows that after all those years. But I know it hasn't always been easy for him, that's for sure.
Our supporters need support
Yeah.
too. I feel bad for Mitchell a lot of the nights. He works in the military, so he doesn't have his own schedule. He's whatever they tell him to do. And then
Yeah.
I'm in the middle of the night. He actually told me to tell them to say this when he wouldn't wake up, but I have to yell stand too, which could be traumatizing for somebody in the military, because you say that and instantly they're up, they're awake, they're doing whatever you need them to do, which is amazing for me as a cluster headache. Like I got the Red Bull beside me, I got water, I got the oxygen, I got the hot water turned on. He's got the freaking cold pack going, but it's so hard on him. I know it is, and he will never tell me how hard it is on him to
I
wake up
found it traumatizing to see
4
another
nights out of the
person
week.
having an attack for the first time, even though I know what he was experiencing. It was you, Rob. But yeah, it's
I think
you
it was
don't know what to do.
It was in the museum, Rob, when we were in the Newcastle for the Arts conference, and then Rob it was the first time I was seeing Rob having an attack as well, and then as like he said, of course, yeah, now just I want to be alone.
It's so
I didn't want to leave because we were in a museum.
Right? You don't want to leave, but you're just like, fuck,
yeah.
this is my friend. I want to help you.
It was in the corner, and then he was on a bench, so I just sat away at a distance.
Watching.
So I could watch him. I don't know if you were there. The other, maybe for Rob and Cicely, the kids, Rob, you said, they understand, they help. How much do they know about cluster headaches? Do you openly tell them about it?
I openly discuss everything except the really heavy material and the thing like the mentally heavy material.
Mm-hmm.
They are way too young to know that burden. But for instance, I don't hide it from them.
They
Go
understand
do on vacation. We go with the sled through the snow, and they see my attacks coming before I know it. So most of the time they say, "Dad, your eyes twitching. Go to your bed."
You're looking
And
crazy again.
the eldest one knows a lot. The youngest one is still. She knows I have headaches, and she knows they're severe, but she's 4, so she doesn't really know what it is. But the eldest is 9, and like she sometimes struggles with it, and that's more heartbreaking to see than you can imagine, I think. So
How does she struggle with it? How do you mean?
she doesn't like that I have them, of course, but sometimes I can do things, or she doesn't. She does understand a lot of it, but it's also like it's heavy on my wife, but it's also heavy on her, seeing me going through all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And also a lot of their friends, if they come play here and I need to get away, then she needs to explain it to them. Yeah, there are
It's
situations
hard on
that
her in her own way.
it's harder on her than I even can think of. But for instance, there are also moments like when using the oxygen. My youngest one was, I think, a bit scared of it at first, but I had the mask on, and there's like this tube, so I did like like an elephant, and the next
Oh,
comment was,
that's so cute.
And you're doing this during an
the
attack.
elephants. Then
Yeah.
You're
so
awesome.
those are things that I can also see the fun part in it, even if it isn't fun at all. But
There's
I
light
get that, but I think
in the
it's a way of
darkness.
coping also for yourself. We do that as
it
well.
is.
Like I don't have kids, but Jim one time asked like, "Can I give you the injection of sumatriptan?" I was like, "Yeah, sure, go ahead." You know, and you just wanted to press the button for once, and of course it's not a fun thing, but
Nee,
It's
but
yours.
we could laugh for a
Your
couple of
life.
seconds.
Yeah.
but I have some friends that did it for me. It doesn't work at all, but in the beginning I keep kept on trying it. Like if it works one time in 100 times, it's still working. So
Worth it.
Yeah.
worth it. But some of my friends have put the injections, and mostly I did it myself, of course. But I don't like anyone else doing it. There is a certain
I'm a baby.
I think only the oxygen is capable of doing it for everyone, but all the other things I keep sort of hidden.
How's it with your kids, Cicely?
My daughters are teenagers.
Do they know about the AVF? Do they know about your job?
They understand everything. They were very scared before the diagnosis because we didn't know what happened. But now it's okay. It's our life. It's not the life I would give to her, but
As a mom, you can't. You can't. I feel like that's. I don't know, but a lot of moms I hear say that you're doing the best you can.
I think I'm doing the best I can. But
Which is
I'm sure
Which
I'm
Every
doing the
every
best.
every
I'm
mom
sure.
thinks that they
most
could be doing better.
But I would like to do many things with them.
You're saving
I'm
lives.
with them every day. I have no partner. I'm solo with
You're strong.
with my daughters, and
Then
they
most
help me a lot. Um, they they are perfect.
If I might
I
add
think they are
something,
perfect.
Do they
Every
know
mom.
about you asking for euthanasia for assisted death back in the day? Or was that before you?
Do they know now?
They know, now they know they can see the attack when it's coming, and they know I must be alone. They know I can cry, I can scream, and it's okay. It will be okay.
It'll be over.
They know that I have poor sleep and I'm very, very tired. They know I'm not like their friends' moms. They know I'm a sick mom. I am a disabled mom. But now we are in peace with that.
You're strong.
Yes, we are okay. They know that I need oxygen. They know that I need my injections. They know that I'm going to the hospital once a month. It's okay.
And about the mental part, like I can imagine you still struggle sometimes mentally, and you have done in the past.
I'm seeing a psychologist. They're seeing their psychologist.
Okay.
I think it's very important for them because we have no other adults in the house. I can't talk to another adult every day. They must sometimes give my oxygen, they must sometimes give my medicines. I think it's very, very important to have a psychologist or someone else, but someone who is neutral.
I cannot recommend highly, like having a good psychologist. I think helps so much. Like whether you are a supporter, whether you're a sufferer, if however intense, episodic, chronic, doesn't matter. Like if you have the option and if you have the resources or able to get psychologists, just I would highly recommend it.
Yeah.
I do want to pick up on one thing that you said, Cecily, about the fact that you made peace with it. Right? What was that moment that, or was it one moment? Was it like, because I went through probably the same, and everyone goes through, maybe not in the same order, but it's a bit of denial at first, and then a bit of like rage against it, like where in between attacks, I would try to party harder, try to act like it didn't exist. At some point, it just felt like, okay, now I am in a certain amount of time without attacks. So I'm going to make the most of it by partying more, by sleeping lesser. And now I know, I think it really took me that 10-month bout of attacks until I stopped fighting it. And I said, okay, it sucks. It's not going to stop. It might get better, but it's not. But that, I think that was the sort of, it wasn't one moment, but it was that year that I made peace with it. Did you guys have something like it?
I still haven't made peace with it. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know
I
that I
think it was a
haven't.
process. I think it was a process.
it is a process.
Yes.
I wouldn't say like this was the moment it changed or this is the thing that changed it. I think for me, it helped getting disability benefits. So at least you don't have to worry about the financial side as much. I don't know. I think also because I tried every treatment possible here in the Netherlands and not been working, I also don't want to hang on to it. Like, okay, this is what it is. And well, I can say some things that contributed to it, but it's also more like a physical treatment. I tried shrooms and that changed my pattern of headaches so much that I could crawl out of my depression, and it has never been the same ever since in a good way. So I don't know if I still would have peace with it if it would turn around and I will go back to having 8 to 12 attacks a day. So I'm not sure actually. Now I'm having peace with it, but I'm not sure if it would get worse again. I don't know. It's actually pretty hard to answer this question. Holy shit.
That's how I come in with the hard questions.
Oh my God. I'm gonna be. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
maybe,
Diane the other day in our
Maybe
conversation
even
got
I
me
spoke
thinking.
prematurely about being at peace. Ask me when my cycle starts again. But
Mm.
Rob,
Literally.
how
I don't really have peace with it, but I go by the thing that you're more than the headaches. You're still a person, you still have feelings, you still have hobbies, and
Mhm.
the time you do not have those TH attacks, you're still the same person you always was. If you can work or not, that's another thing, but and another thing to process, of course. But for me, it really helps to see for myself and hear from others that you are not your disease.
Yes.
You do have it, but aside from that, you're still the same person. For
I don't think I'm the same person. No, I'm not
majority
my
of
disease, but it changed me so much. And also
yeah,
in good ways, there are things I don't want to change about that. It's kind of sad that a disability was necessarily for me to change that way. But I'm definitely not the same person as I was before cluster headaches, but I don't mind that. I
that's what I
accepted
wanted to
that new
say.
person. Of course, I can still grieve the old Kato sometimes, but no, I wouldn't say I'm still the same person. I know I'm more than my disease, but the disease formed me in the Kato I am today, and that's not the Kato I was.
I agree on
So
that.
I disagree
You're
with
not
that.
your disease.
but
Yeah.
I think
Rob,
Rob
I
is,
get what Rob is
I
saying.
think
I
Sorry.
get it, and I thought
he is
about
not
this a lot, but I cannot say that over about myself. Like I cannot say I'm the same person
I
as I
didn't mean
was.
in
no I
every
think he's
aspect,
saying
of course, because yeah, I didn't really set my boundaries, and now I have to. So yeah, I changed a lot also, but yeah, not in the things I like to do or how I am to other people. Of course, when
Oh, I did.
people, yeah, sorry,
I did. Yeah, a lot.
yeah, oh,
Yeah, yeah.
and
But
maybe
I
I
don't
still,
mind it. I like it. I like the way I got way more empathy and
Hmm.
stuff like that. And maybe I kind of got forced in it this way. And like I said, it's kind of a shame that this cluster headaches or something was necessarily to
Mhm.
become that way. But yes, the way I treat and see other people definitely changed. The things I like to do change. Also because maybe the things I like to do, I cannot do it energy wise anymore. So you have to look for other things. But yeah, I changed a lot, all personality wise as well, energy wise.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same
But
thing.
I think that also differs per person. Yeah, of course.
I changed what
I
you were
always
saying,
say like
Rob.
you are not your disease, but it shapes you as hell.
Yeah.
Yes.
A lot of people, I think, along what Rob was saying, a lot of people will live in the cluster headache. Like, this is my life. This is who I am. This is
and
what
you
I got to
still
deal with.
so
And
much.
But
you're
I
so much
also
more than
see
just the
myself
headache.
cluster head. It's really like even if I don't have daily attacks
I'm not saying you
myself,
don't see
the
yourself as a cluster
community
head.
and stuff is like my daily life right now.
Yeah.
And I don't see it necessarily as a bad thing that cluster headaches is
I
pretty
think
much my life.
Go ahead,
it's
Darsh.
it's a big part of our lives. From what I gather is it's not necessarily everything about our lives. Like we have, like, knowing you guys, like I know some of you are funny now, like all of you are funny. Good
Ooh.
opinions. It's and then good fun to hang out with, right? Like I think it's maybe it's could also be sometimes like how we project things onto ourselves. It also makes things harder. Like if I can define myself only as a chronic disease sufferer, then
You're not gonna
I'm
feel
not
like a
going to
human.
define myself as someone who's creative, as someone who's good at other things. Maybe
Like when you use people's name, you humanize them by saying hi, Angel, or hi, Kato, just
Yes.
instead of just saying hey and then walking away. Like you're not just your cluster head.
you don't have to ignore it. You don't have to embrace or succumb to it, or you have to fight it. I think that's kind of how I see peace as. It's almost like the 5 stages of grief. So you have denial, bargaining, anger, something, and acceptance. What was the other one?
Sadness.
Yeah. So I do know it intimately enough to not forget about it, but I think it also, being at peace helps me to kind of just be like, yeah, I mean, it's going to come. What I can control is how I react to it.
How I react to it is big for
Yeah.
me.
So it's kind of like, like after you kind of reach the peak of an attack, and then it's like every minute it's going to get better. So, like that.
And that feeling after the really bad attack you had, it's like fuzzy and you just want to crawl in a blanket and be warm and like we
Yeah.
were talking about the other day. Yeah.
So it's, for me, it's like that. As soon as I know from that peak, it comes down a little, I know like, okay, it's going to be another 15 minutes, 20 minutes. And then I just like, okay, wait for it.
Then I'm going to the fridge, eating everything in it after an attack.
Oh,
That's
no.
what I do.
I can relate to that.
The
Like,
peanut butter jelly toast,
Even
everything.
Rob has this.
Did you eat after an
Ah.
attack, Cecile? Cecilia, sorry.
Yes.
Like I read it a lot. Really? Oh my
So-
God! Maybe
the
I
best
sleep
feeling.
one
or
of the
I
few
eat.
people where I get so nauseous. That's the only thing I've in common with my migraines. I get so nauseous.
I'm like incredibly hungry after.
So it's you just
Darsha
fought
was
for your
eating
life.
all the time. In fact.
I'm always hungry.
Yeah, yeah,
Maybe-
Darcy, we
maybe
know.
M&Ms.
We know that.
Me too. Food is everything after an attack.
I remember you were just getting out of the bad attack, and I brought you your salad, and you were like, "Oh yeah, nice."
Yeah.
You crazy
No, but
people.
peace with the attacks I have. But aside from that, it's not really peaceful. Not in the slightest way. But
Mhm.
yeah, when I go to appointments and they say, yeah, this doesn't work, this doesn't work, or these are the newest options you have, it just goes by, and yeah, I don't really feel
Yeah,
anything
maybe peace was
anymore
I
when
meant
a specialist says something like that.
I meant more on how you react to things, right? And I think you have one of the most sort of temperate or like goodwill reactions to this, that you go through situations that would piss the bleep out of people. I have to bleep myself now. And you seem almost like, yeah. And I think that's great that you don't get very angry in situations
He's
which,
the calmest person. I couldn't believe
Yeah.
it. And people were talking to him. I'm like, how is he not losing it on them right now? Like this guy was like, oh, what about this? Oh, you try this. And Rob was just like, it's okay. No, I'm fine. I'm like,
Yeah, but
he's
seriously,
so
you stay
chill.
so
I
calm.
would
say for
lose
sure
it
that-
on those people.
I think
I
I
can say
also
for
stay
sure if I
calm, but
don't
it's more
have
like
you-
I think I also stay calm, but it's like I taught myself to lay still and not be moving around a lot, because in the end it only costs you energy and it brings you not much. So as long as it's not peaking above, I don't know, KIP level, I think starting from KIP level 8, I'm starting to move. I'm not being able to lay still again, but you were so calm most of the time. Like I still saw
For me,
and
it was
how much
people
pain you
annoying
were.
him during his attack. I'm like, why? Everybody here knows. Why are you bugging him? Like, I was just like tweaking a little bit. Like, leave him alone.
I don't know. Maybe that's my way of
alone.
coping.
I
don't know.
guess I grew into that because there wasn't really anything that could lessen the attack in
Yeah.
duration or intensity. So you need to go through with it.
You did say to me too that you have kids, so you're used to the noise and the
Yeah.
camaraderie around you on attack. And I was just like, this is insane. I couldn't do it the way you did it. No. 3 people would have gotten yelled at for sure if I was having your attack. I know for sure.
shocking.
And on the other side, yeah, without you people and the people around me, I would be a lot of more angry and sadder, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Without
definitely was in a
people
different place
around me, I
before.
think I will. I don't think I would have been in this conversation now,
Yeah.
for sure.
Same.
Like,
I'm gonna leave links in the description with different support groups. Also, we are on Discord server now, Cluster Buds. I'll leave a link for that. Please join if you want more support from Kato in
Amazing community.
Yes,
you're all in it.
yes, yeah, it's amazing.
I
his
know it's so much fun. And even like it's not only talking about pain and the bad things. We also laugh a
Camaraderie,
lot.
fun. Yeah.
A lot of people use dark humor to as coping, and it's the perfect place. But if you do want to talk about your pain or your mental health, it is the perfect place, and
Yes.
people know exactly what you're experiencing. You don't have to explain. It is
Mhm.
amazing.
Yes.
Please join.
I'm gonna talk to Ed also. I think we're scheduling a call, and then we can.
Yeah, he mentioned it.
Yeah, I'm only noticing the time now. It's almost 2 hours. Wow.
It's been 2 hours.
Yes.
I've noticed.
Where Rob
I
did.
told you,
Rob
I
said,
told you, never under 2 hours.
"Should we start wrapping this up?"
Yep. We're good.
Anything that you wish were like one thing that, not one thing, let's say, like, let me frame this better. A cure is a bit distant right now, right? But I think, and we all know that until a cure is found, there's a lot of things that can be done that still can improve our experience.
I feel like if there was one thing, it would have been to be believed sooner, not having to fight so hard for a diagnosis.
Oh yes, yes.
That
Same.
connection from headache specialist to mental health therapist, for example, and or support groups. And otherwise, I would say legalization of psychedelics.
Psychedelics.
Mm.
Yes.
Is there any, what's a weird, quirky thing that you have that helps even with attacks, but in between attacks, or something that, just gets you through the day?
For me, during an attack, especially the bad morning attacks, my spouse, and if he's not there, I will get it myself. I will grab a cold beer bottle from the fridge to cool my eye with. And then there's a beer bottle most of the time standing next to my bed. And if people who don't live here see that, they're like, what the hell?
Alcoholic.
All like you.
Exactly. I never drink.
What about you guys? Rob, Cecily, do you have any things to help you? Well, Rob, you have that pillow trick.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
the pillow
the trick.
trick.
There's a way you can invert your pillow you wrap it around and set it on your head so you don't have to bang around the walls. The pillowcase makes a little sack on the front so you can just drop your Red Bull in it so it cools your eye. And if you're ready, you can pick it out and drink it up.
I will wake up
that's the
sometimes
weird
at
thing.
night at the hotel, and I would see him sitting up in bed with like the pillowcase on his head, like banging like this.
See, you see my pillowcase? I don't need a pillowcase. I got this.
Yeah, so
My head's too
that's
thick.
one thing, and a lot of coffee. And
You should make
sometimes
a
just
video
a
of the
lot of
pillowcase one
Hmm?
time. You should
Yeah,
make
we need
a
we need a
video
picture of
about how
this
you do
now.
the pillowcase for others.
It's a good one. Yeah,
Yeah, a tutorial.
I will.
Please.
So that's a lot of coffee, and if I get really wasted, that would also help. And that's weird.
Okay.
Like a
No.
little
Okay, no,
booze
chef says.
will only make the attacks worse. But if I drink enough, then I will have a good night
Yeah.
most of the times.
So go
So
big or
for
go
me,
home.
for Christmas, I'm still not ready to test it yet, but I don't know if it was because I was drinking Bailey's in my coffee. Could have been what gave me a break. I don't know. But there was Bailey's in my coffee, and I don't really drink alcohol. Bailey's at Christmas, that's it. But I'm curious. Maybe I'll buy a bottle of Bailey's.
Those are only certain alcohols kind of like trigger it worse.
I've heard that from a lot of people.
I never had a direct trigger from alcohol, but it was a little bit like what Rob said. Well, I made myself believe that if it was like a few drinks, then I would get an attack.
So you
Waste.
gotta get wasted.
And you do get like a relief of, like, I get what Rob is saying, that you do get like a good 6, 7, 8 hours free.
But what are the attacks like after when you're recuperating?
Maybe it was just after my diagnosis or something, and it would just be like go out on a Saturday, Sunday free, Monday free, and Tuesdays would be the worst attacks.
Mm-hmm.
That's what eventually made me stop drinking. It was more decision fatigue of just trying to, like, okay, when is a good day to drink? When is not a good day to drink?
Mm.
Should I drink? It's just like, fuck this, not gonna drink at all.
I'm just gonna quit.
Yeah.
But I do think there is a relation with beers and having heavier
barley.
attacks. The
Barley.
barley.
Yeah. I would never touch a beer. I know for sure that causes
Well,
an
that's also one of the things I couldn't be asked figuring out. Like, just because then it's because I love beer.
attack. I love
I
my
used to
Corona.
love
I haven't-
it. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to. I used to love Corona.
Yeah.
Cecily, what about you? Do you have something that is you got your that's your
Kitty cat.
that's what it is time. Okay, last
All right.
then we can all go. Final message to the listeners out there.
We love you and we're here for you.
You're not alone
Beautiful.
again.
Yes,
And-
you're not alone.
Cluster heads all over. Unite.
Yes.
Extend your
Yay!
hand.
See you guys.
Thank you so much, all of you. Really
Thank you.
Have a good night. Thank you.
good to chat. Good night.
She just meant I
Yeah,
might
but
as well
you
just
don't have
drive
another
and put my
hire.
head out the window.
Buddy.
See, A to
That's
Z.
okay.
Who the heck hands somebody a Red Bull after a headache? A headache to the regular people.
I break their fucking nose.
I
Second.
gave birth in my car.
Pardon.
I'm sorry. You're looking
Really?
crazy good.
Between 15 and 20, I think.
Every of you can give birth in your car.